And after yesterday's very exciting race that was claimed by Liam Lawson, the New Zealander starts from pole position for race 2. This is the first round of a 9-event calendar this year. And you join myself, Ben Evans, on a really quite chilly and breezy day here in Paul Ricard. The pit lane is open for the Euroformula Open, and the drivers are heading out on to the circuit now to form up on the grid as we watch some of the Carlin drivers, Tepi Nattori and Billy Munger, heading to the circuit. Munger, who gained the most places of anybody in yesterday's race, from 19th on the grid, eventually finishing up in the points, and his task is a little bit easier this afternoon. He will line up from 12th position. The Euroformula Open, of course, with a different look this year. The opening up of the engine regulations, meaning that we have got Piedrafita, HWA and Spieth all represented through the field. Several new teams entering the championship as well, including Team Motorpark, who this weekend have been really the team to beat. And again, they have locked out the top 3 places on the grid with Liam Lawson. There he is, starting from pole position, the race 1 winner. He shares the front row of the grid with Marino Sato, and then Yuki Tsunoda, another of the Red Bull-backed drivers, lining up in 3rd position before we get in 4th place to Toyota Motorsports' Guilherme Samaya. So it's a 15-lap race ahead of us, although if we do have the intervention of a safety car, then we might revert to a 35-minute time limit. And the car's just on their sighting lap, heading towards the grid. There is Yuki Tsunoda, one of the 4 Team Motorpark entrants. Marino Sato, Julian Hanses, also with the Motorpark team, as well as Liam Lawson. We've also got new entrants from the RR team in the form of British Formula 3 champion Linus Lundqvist and also Jack Doohan as well. And both of them inside the top 10 in qualifying today. And the reigning champions, RP Motorsport, having a difficult weekend so far, with Artem Petrov lining up in 14th place for this afternoon's race. There is Marino Sato, Japanese driver, who will start on the front row of the grid. Yesterday's race, it was Liam Lawson, as we said, who won from Yuki Tsunoda, with pole sitter Lucas Dunner, who completed the podium, but it was Dunner who lost out on the advantage due to an early race safety car as Jack Doohan rolls to a halt. The RR team just wheeling him into position as the 5-minute board is shown to the drivers on the grid. So the countdown well underway. Then they'll be released onto their green flag lap, and then they will go racing. So look then, back at what happened yesterday. It was Lucas Dunner who converted pole position as from 3rd on the grid, Liam Lawson was able to get the jump on Yuki Tsunoda. That proved to be important as the pack made it through the first couple of turns okay, but then further back in the midfield, Cameron Dass had it coming together with Artem Petrov, and it was Petrov spinning there in the centre of your picture. His stranded car brought out the safety car on the restart then, and able to leap through was Liam Lawson. Yuki Tsunoda also followed past Lucas Dunner. That gave us the eventual finishing order, but it wasn't for one to try and live these parts. Some great racing all the way through the field. Christian Hahn was at the centre of it, as were Guilherme Samaya, Naldo Festante, but when Festante and Hahn tangled with each other, Nikolai Kiergaard got caught up in it as well, and that allowed quite a shuffle of the pack. Liam Lawson withstood late race pressure from Yuki Tsunoda to come through and take the victory, with Lucas Dunner rounding out the podium. So yesterday was a good day for Liam Lawson. Today has started off, you would have to say, as a pretty good day for Liam Lawson. Pole position in this morning's qualifying session, and he did it with his very last lap of the session, giving him a 0.3 of a second advantage over teammate Marino Sato, the front of the field. Still, though, very, very close through the pack. The top 14 cars separated by just 1.9 seconds. The grid now being cleared. And so once more, it really is anybody's race. The Motor Park team have been the most consistently at the sharp end throughout the course of the weekend. And Liam Lawson yesterday took advantage of starting from that clean side of the grid to jump Yuki Tsunoda, who was second on the grid. Today it's Marino Sato who starts from second position. This mechanic just saying focus on the start. Third on the grid then for Yuki Tsunoda, and the way you can tell Tsunoda and Lawson's cars apart is that Liam Lawson has also got the Red Bull writing and livery on his rear wing. So fourth on the grid for Guilherme Samaya, leading the Teo Martin Motorsport charge, and Samaya went very well in yesterday's race, looked very fine in qualifying this morning as well, with Julian Hanses making it all four Motor Park cars in the top 5 places on the grid, with Lucas Dunner third yesterday, starting from 6th place, and he will be hoping, if he can, to maybe snatch another podium for his efforts. Linus Lundqvist then starts in 7th place, the Swedish driver of Double R Racing. Yesterday he was one of several drivers who did a really good job of cutting his way through the field in the traffic. 8th on the grid then for Christian Hahn. Here's how they line up in full then, with Liam Lawson, Marino Sato on the front row, then Yuki Tsunoda and Guilherme Samaya on row 2. Row 3, Julian Hanses and Lucas Dunner from Linus Lundqvist and Christian Hahn. The top 10 completed by Tepe Naturi and Jack Doohan, and then Petru Florescu and Billy Munger on to row 6. Row 7, Aldo Festante and Artem Petrov. Cameron Dass and Callum Williams make it an all Fortec Motorsport row 8, with Nikolai Kiergaard and Pierre-Louis Chauvet on row 9. Rui Andrade and Dimitros Simpris completing the pack. They are about to be waved off on their green flag lap. Blustery conditions, but a fine race in prospect for the spectators to enjoy. So just moments away then from the start of the second race of the Euroformula Open season in Paul Ricard. It is Ben Evans and Elliot Wood with you for the action, as Liam Lawson will lead the field away for this final inspection of the 5.8 kilometre Paul Ricard circuit. And so far, Elliot, it's been a really great weekend for Liam.
Yeah, he didn't quite take pole in the first race, but many teams did struggle with qualifying form on Saturday. But he's took a pretty good race 1 victory yesterday, and in qualifying this morning, timed his lap perfectly and took his first Formula 3 pole position.
He did, and by a decent margin in the end from Marino Sato. Yuki Tsunoda, though, who starts from 3rd place, he might feel there's a little bit of unfinished business too. But one of the things that we really saw in yesterday's race, Elliot, was the drivers lower down the order, actually, if they made good starts, were able to progress some way out through the fields.
Yeah, so Billy Munger, well-known driver, he started 19th and he finished the first race of the weekend in 10th. And a lot of the drivers I spoke to said their qualifying form wasn't representative of where they were going to finish, and it proved. The same with Linus Lundqvist, who drives Double R Racing. He started in 10th and he managed to finish the first race in 4th. If you look at Linus' starting position, 7th, it suggests that the Double R team have really worked hard overnight and made sure their qualifying form is up to scratch now.
Yeah, that's the case. It's probably, relatively speaking, qualifying. It's the Carlin squad, actually, who possibly suffered a little bit overnight with their qualifying form, with Christian Hahn leading the team from 8th position, and then Tepe Naturi just behind him. But the challenge, as ever, is the start. And what we've seen a couple of times this weekend in Euroformula and other sport races is that clean side of the grid is really important for getting a good getaway. So for someone like Linus Lundqvist, being on the clean side of the grid, yes, he's on row 4, he may well fancy his chances for making up some ground into turn 1.
Yeah, it's there's obviously several races now, so there's rubbered in the track. Also, some drivers wouldn't be afraid to, even on the weaker side of the grid, to hold it strong around the outside of turn 1 and go for a move as well.
And that will be something to certainly watch for as well. the field, just heading into the double apexed right-hander at turn 11. That feeds them uphill towards turn 12 and the sort of the sinuous section that runs them back towards the end of this lap. 15 laps the race distance, but if we do have a safety car period, we would get a couple of laps added to the race distance, provided we don't come up to our 35-minute time limit. And yesterday we did get a couple of laps added on after that early safety car. So this is the second of 18 races this season for the Euroformula Open. And lots of drivers looking to use the Euroformula Open as a stepping stone to greater things in motorsport. Recent graduate just a couple of years ago, Colton Herta, already an IndyCar race winner. Others who've appeared in the championship have gone all the way to Formula One, and that is where Liam Lawson and the rest of them have got their sights firmly set. For now, though, the job is getting the car off the line, and these Euroformula Open cars, it's always an art to anticipate the start and just get away smoothly.
Yeah, it's these Michelin tyres are very good, but the amount of power the Formula 3 cars have, the drivers have to be very careful with their throttle control.
Yeah, the Michelin tyre that they all run on, it's a very rewarding tyre, but if you push too hard on it, and we saw that early in yesterday's race, it does leave you in it can leave you in a spot of bother late on as the performance falls away. So there's nothing more the teams can really do now, as everybody is in position. So we wait for the marshal at the rear of the grid to move across with the green flag. Everybody just paused and ready. Here we go then as the countdown begins. The red lights are on, the lights flash out now and away we go. And it's not a brilliant start from Lawson, it's a much better start from Marino Sato, who moves into the lead of the race, and Guilherme Samaya might jump Lawson. Oh, there's contact! Liam Lawson makes contact with Yuki Tsunoda. Somehow they don't fire off into a major accident, but they do take to the escape road, as do many other runners. They're all more or less through the first couple of turns, but it's going to be very tight. So they head down in towards turn 3. 3 wide, in fact, and more of them taking to the escape route, and it's giving Marino Sato a huge advantage over, it would appear to be Guilherme Samaya, and then it's Liam Lawson in 3rd, Lucas Dunner 4th, Linus Lundqvist in 5th, Julian Hansers in 6th, Christian Hahn 7th, and it's possibly Yuki Tsunoda who may have picked up some damage through those interlock wheels with Liam Lawson. And quite how they avoided having a monstrous incident, I do not know. As Lucas Dunner weaving, trying to keep Linus Lundqvist behind him, as bits of debris flying all over the place down the Mistral straight. But Linus Lundqvist is going to go through. He takes 4th. Dunner slots into 5th. Julian Hanses takes a trip across the chicane, and frantic first couple of corners.
Yeah, it's a very poor start by Lawson there, which we did warn just prior. The fact that the 2 Red Bulls made contact again after having a few close incidents in qualifying isn't very good news for them.
Meanwhile, Jack Doohan to the inside of Billy Munger into the Courbe de Seine, and that is enough to get Doohan back into 10th position. He then has a little bit of a slip through turn 11, and Doohan, he's gained a place on Tepi Nattori as well, who slipped wide. And then Nattori seems to have gained the position back. Lots of swapping of ground in these early stages. And somehow Liam Lawson and Marino and Yuki Tsunoda appear to have escaped picking up too much damage, which is quite the achievement. There's still bits of Tsunoda's car being scattered, as that's a challenge Martin Petrov to the inside of Billy Munger. Munger sees him coming, just able to fend that off for the moment. So across the line they come then. It's Sato from Samaya, then Liam Lawson, Linus Lundqvist in 4th. 5th place is Lucas Dunner, 6th is Christian Hahn. Hanses looks to the inside of Tepi Nattori and slips through. Absolutely frenetic first lap of the race. To turn 3, and Munger and Fastante, and it's Billy Munger who runs out wide, so he will look to rejoin just alongside Nicolas Kieryard. A lot of the drivers possibly feeling the pressure of having to make these first couple of laps count.
Yeah, and it looked like Billy was looking in his mirrors there as he entered the corner. we've got to replay the start now.
So Lawson just slow away, wasn't he? And then Sonoda tried to fend off Guilherme Samaya. And that angle doesn't really quite... Now, this is the front on angle. So they're all going every which way. Sonoda sees the opportunity inside Lawson. Lawson shuts the door, interlock wheels, and then Lawson cannonballs back in front of the field.
Yeah, and that was all started by Lawson missing the starting lights. He actually started probably half a second after everyone else. And the contact he had with his side-on contact with his teammate could have been very deadly.
It could have been an absolutely monstrous instant. Unfortunately, Petru Florescu and Rui Andrade are the ones who we have seen getting in trouble as Samaya and Lawson go wheel to wheel. And Liam Lawson now up behind Guilherme Samaya. This is what we want to see, some wheel to wheel action as Lawson thinking about the move maybe into the final corner. And the key here for Liam Lawson is after that instant at the start, he's now just got to get his head down, calm himself down and focus on the race ahead, because we're only 2 laps into the 15.
Yeah, but it looks like Lawson's going very aggressive, because even though the last set of corners aren't renowned for overtaking, he was still going for it. And he's going around trying the outside of Samaya at turn 1. He's holding the line. He's still ahead, but at turn 2, and he's through. Second place of Lawson now.
Great move, wasn't it, from Liam Lawson? And Guilherme Samaya didn't want to give it to him. And I guess that Liam Lawson might feel that teammate Marino Sato, who didn't clear Guilherme Samaya, was going to be able to build a bit of a buffer. The start, not unsurprisingly, is under investigation. And now Guilherme Samaya trying to stay with Liam Lawson rather, fending off Lundqvist. Here's another look at it then. Lawson alongside Guilherme Samaya around the outside, and that gave him the inside into turn 2. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda, another driver who looks to be up with the mobile, challenging to the inside of Christian Hahn. Hahn having absolutely none of it, slams the door. And so Tsunoda has got a little bit more ground to make up, but again, he's in the tow behind Christian Hahn as they head down second half of the Mistral straight. Hahn looks to defend. Tsunoda isn't going to back out of it. He's got the inside line for the Corp Decina, and he's able to ease to the inside of Christian Hahn. Hahn, though, will look to fight back to the inside, then the outside as they head into turn 11. Yuki Tsunoda seems to have sealed that manoeuvre and moves up into 6th.
And despite potentially having damage on both of the Red Bull cars, they're setting very good laps. Lawson set the fastest lap last time round. He's already closing in on Marino Sato, his teammate, who's in the lead. And Sato, his best Formula 3 result prior, is 7th place.
You've probably cursed him, as we've got the train of cars filing through to end the lap. Jack doing up into 9th, so he's cleared Tepe Notori, who rounds out the point scorers.
Samaya's got past Lawson.
He has indeed. Guilherme Samaya's back past Liam Lawson. We didn't see where that happened, but it has happened, and now Liam Lawson has got to do the work all over again. And Liam Lawson, yes, he lost 1.5 seconds through the final sector, and that was enough to give Samaya second position back, and from Marino Sato, it now means a 2.6 second lead.
And just behind them, a similar thing has occurred. Linus Lundqvist, who was in 4th place and was challenging at the front very early on, has dropped behind Lucas Dunner, and he's now being attacked by Tsunoda. And there's battling happening.
That's Aldo Fustante and Callum Williams going wheel to wheel. They are bringing Artem Petrov into it as well, and also Cameron Das, and it's Petrov who's lost out. So Billy Mungo was trying to join in as well, and then went skittering wide as he went through turn 6, as Liam Lawson immediately looking to get back ahead of Guilherme Samaya. Now, what's really interesting here is that Liam Lawson can find himself the filling in the Teo Martin Motorsport sandwich, because if Samaya starts to slow him down, then there'll be no time at all before Lucas Donner is onto his tail. Now, again, where do you look? There are so many battles going on throughout the field. So we don't know what happened to Lawson. We don't know what happened to Lundqvist. What we do know is that Liam Lawson is looking very anxious to move back ahead of Guilherme Samaya.
Yeah, Lawson's attacking at all corners here. He's searching the track, looking for anywhere where he can make a move. And we're coming through the final few corners here, and he is literally sandwiched between the two Teo Martin cars.
He really is, as Yuki Tsunoda trying to get onto with Linus Lundqvist. So then we've got Christian Hahn. He's got Julian Hans just behind him. Jack Doohan and Tepe Notori not too far adrift either. So they all thunder through. And this time round, Lawson not able to do anything about Guilherme Samar down the start and finish straight as Marino Sato sets the fast lap of the race and has built out almost a 3-second advantage. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda in pursuit of Linus Lundqvist. Cameron Das and Callum Williams go wheel to wheel. They're teammates, of course, and Das to the inside of Williams. And that is Billy Munger and Artem Petrov, who are all part of this scrap as well, all of them taking different angles into turn 4. K-Yard trying to join in as well. And we saw this yesterday, didn't we? Some absolutely fantastic battling just to the lower reaches of the top 10.
Yeah, and it looks like Billy's perfectly placed going on to the Mulsanne straight now. Oh, and there's a move up front that's between Lawson and Guilherme Samaya, who's second and third place, and it's failed the first time round, but he's got another long straight coming, and Lawson's perfectly placed to put his car where he needs to. He
is, but the fact that Samaya isn't moving across the inside of the road, like Tsunoda is in the background, having made it past Lundqvist, oh, Lawson's going to go for it anyway, and Samaya possibly caught napping a little bit. He didn't defend, and that was an open goal for Liam Lawson, who leaps through. Meanwhile, Lundqvist and Tsunoda side by side into turn 11. They got Christian Hahn with them as well, and Yuki Tsunoda has found the way past Linus Lundqvist and seems to have made the move stick. Christian Hahn trying to join that fight as well.
Tsunoda had made it past at the chicane, splitting the long straight, but it looks like Lundqvist then got back past at turn 10 and then lost position again at turn 11.
So lots under investigation from the first lap of the race, as Jack Doohan now part of that scrap. Tepe Notori trying to be. Teo Martin Motorsport squad watching as Guilherme Samar trying to get back onto terms with Liam Lawson. Marino Sato has escaped to the tune of 3.3 seconds, but Lawson has still got 2/3 of the race ahead of him to try and bring that gap back down. But exactly as you called it, Elliot, meanwhile 3 wide into turn 1, and that's a sandwich for Artem Petrov, and somehow they avoid contact. Like Yard able to make the move, but Callum Williams looking to fight back as they head towards turn 5. He can't quite, turn 4 rather, can't quite squeeze past. But Lawson got the good run out of the chicane, and Samaya just didn't move across the inside until it was too late.
Yeah, Lawson was predicting where he was going to go then. Oh, and we've got an RP car that's in the runoff.
It's Pierre-Louis Chauvet who has come to a halt, and not sure where he is relative to the edge of the circuit, because the runoff areas here all do look much of a muchness. But hopefully that's not going to spring a safety car on us. It's over at turn 12 where Pierre-Louis Chauvet.
Yeah, and since Lawson's overtaken Samaya, he's already put a gap to the Teo Martin car of almost a second, and it looked like he was closing on his teammate, but Marino Sato, who's in the lead, has responded by setting the best second sector of the race. We've got someone going off here. And
that was Julian Hanses, who is going to be very unpopular for that, because that was under yellow flag conditions as well over at turn 11 for the recovery of Pierre-Louis Chauvet. So it elevates Jack Doohan up into 8th position. Green flag now underway. As the race leader Sato comes through, sets the fastest lap of the race, almost 0.2 seconds quicker than Liam Lawson. So that is a point being proved. Meanwhile, Lucas Dunner trying to get onto terms with Guilherme Samaya. Yuki Tsunoda breaking clear of Linus Lundqvist, with Christian Hahn having a little bit of a weave as Jack Doohan closes up into him quite quickly. And the team manager for Motor Park has been summoned to race control. And
that'll be in regards to the lap 1 incident between teammates Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda, both backed by Red Bull.
I'd imagine the point will be made quite gently that it's a 15-lap race. They don't need to sort it all out within 15 metres of the start.
Yeah, and as we've seen in the previous races, Euroformula Open and the Support, that it's all about biding your time at the Sport Ricard circuit, making your tyres last and knowing that you can attack in the final few laps rather than at the first corner.
Well, somebody once said to me, crashing is a discretionary activity, and That's also probably a point that will be impressed on them, and that also you can't win the race in the first corner. You can certainly lose it, as Julian Hanses is going to lose out here to Tepe Naturi, and Jack Doohan closing up onto Christian Hahn as Tepe Naturi, another of the Honda Pack drivers, to the inside of Julian Hanses, who... and Julian has struggled a little bit for race pace in both races this weekend. He's qualified really well, but he just can't seem to get the best out of the Michelin tyres over a sustained run.
Yeah, he's qualified well both times, but throughout the race, his race pace has dropped. And at the front, Liam Lawson, for the second lap in a row, has set the best sector one, but he's evenly matched with his teammate up front in the second sector.
And Jack Doohan's going to go to the inside here of Christian Hahn, who shuts the door at the exit of turn 11. And to be fair, it's a late apex there. It probably looked more brutal than it was intended from Christian Hahn, but Jack Doohan, he saw half a gap, thought about going for it, and couldn't quite make the move.
Yeah, and once Doohan's behind Hahn that close, the car will get very loose, so we lost quite a bit of time there going through those twisty final few corners. Now going on to the 8th lap now, and Lawson's actually set the fastest lap of the race, so he's closed the gap to his teammate Marino Sato at front to 2.9 seconds.
Now, did Sato make a mistake last time, or is that just Lawson's pace? Because Liam Lawson was substantially quicker than Marino Sato, and no jump start after an investigation, and it was certainly Lawson, I think, who just appeared to be slow away. So now he's within 3 seconds of teammate Sato. Still got half of the race to play with. So the order is Marino Sato from Liam Lawson. 3rd is Guilherme Smart. 4th is Lucas Dunner. 5th, Yuki Tsunoda. 6th, Linus Lundqvist. 7th, Christian Hahn. 8th is Jack Doohan. 9th, Tepe Naturi. And in 10th place, it's Julian Hanses. And there is Jack's father, 5-time motorcycle world champion Mick, watching on from the RR Racing pit as the other RR Racing car of Linus Lundqvist closing up on to Yuki Tsunoda as well. At the front of the field, Marino Sato and Liam Lawson are really scrapping with each other, and I think it's Rui Andrade who's out of the pits a lap down and about to be lapped by the race leaders, as Lundqvist looking to challenge Tsunoda into turn 11. Look to the outside, trying to see if there's a space at the inside. Yuki Tsunoda, though, keeps the car tight to the racing line. And this is the fight for 5th and 6th position. And given the strength of the field this year, every point these drivers can get in each and every race is going to prove to be really quite important, as it's Linus Lundqvist who is the fastest middle sector of the race so far, as Marino Sato comes past us with a 1:56.2. His fast lap of the race again for Liam Lawson, a 1:55.6. He's now 2.3 seconds back from Marino Sato, and that chase is well and truly on. Samara and Lucas Dunn are only separated by 9/10 of a second, and Tsunoda and Linus Lundqvist even less than that.
Yeah, Sato looks particularly weak in the first sector compared to his teammate Lawson, but he's actually setting the same sector 2 times as most of the field behind, who have the benefit of the slipstream.
Maybe he's just gone for a slightly slipperier setup in order to get that benefit, predicting that he'd be out on his own. Who knows? As Linus Lundqvist trying to pick his way past Yuki Tsunoda, as there is Marino Sato. Liam Lawson in pursuit, race leader. We've not seen masses of him. His advantage over Lawson is down to just 2.1 seconds. Meanwhile, the battle of the Teo Marti Motorsport teammates is unresolved. Yeah, it's Doohan to the inside of Hahn, and again Christian Hahn shutting the door a little bit late there. Takes to the escape route as Jack Doohan squeezed him out a bit, and Christian Hahn may well have to give that position back, as Tsunoda and Lundqvist both took advantage of the free toe from Rui Andrade, as now Tsunoda looks to cover the inside line into turn 11, squeezes Lundqvist to the outside, and for the second lap in succession, Yuki Tsunoda defends very well through that section of the track.
And we've got a very close battle for 13th right now, between Nikolai Shargaard and Cameron Dass. And Shargaard's just passed Dass at the end of the Mid-Star Straight. Unfortunately, we can't see the move, but Shargaard's on a rise right now because I think he started this race further down the grid and he's currently moving up positions. Well, Tsunoda's still defending from Lundqvist through these final few corners. Lundqvist will be trying to stick to his rear, possibly go for a move at the final corner.
Yeah, interesting stuff from Linus Lundqvist, and he's able, the Swedish driver, to drive through the turbulent air at the moment from Yuki Tsunoda. How long that will last for, we'll see, as Lundqvist again in the slipstream, heading towards turn 1, and around the outside he sweeps, so he makes the move, and up into 5th for Linus Lundqvist. They've been joined by Christian Hahn, who might well get a call on the radio for his trip across the chicane on the back straight in that battle with Jack Doohan.
Yeah, Hahn set the fastest sector 2 by over 1 second with that cutting of the chicane.
And he would say that he had no option. Other opinions would probably be proffered by Jack Doohan and team.
And outside the points, there's another battle between RP Motorsports' Artem Petrov, who's just overtaken Fortex Callum Williams of 15th.
So they are all busy having a good squabble as Lundqvist is now boot on the other foot. Yuki Tsunoda behind him. Jack Doohan coming under pressure from Tepe Notori. And at the front of the field, Sato just seems to have stemmed the pressure from Liam Lawson. Now here's another look at the move. Jack Doohan to the inside of Christian Hahn, and Hahn turning across, seeing that Doohan was there, and then just planting his right foot. And Carlin team impassive for now. We're not seeing any messages coming up on our monitor, so there's possibly a sense that all has righted itself as Tsunoda still trying to come back to Linus Lundqvist. This fight now, the best part of 7 seconds adrift of Lucas Dunner. Here's another look at the pass from Lundqvist in the toe, and we've seen a couple of times this weekend, Elliot, around the outside of turn 1, proving to be a very effective passing spot.
Yeah, it's for drivers of bravery, certainly, but it also means you have to have enough grip in your tyres left. So this is, you see these moves more later in the race where some drivers looked after their tyres better and they're able to take the outside line and keep the grip.
Meanwhile, Sato and Lawson, they're separated by 2.4 seconds. The gaps at the very front of the field, all relatively stable. Here is Marino Sato.
It looks like Sato is actually slightly pulling away from Lawson now. And we saw Lawson being very aggressive and trying to overtake first Guilherme Samaya, and then, no, before Samaya, it was his own teammate.
Lucas Dunner.
Yeah, Lucas Dunner. And he may have used up too much of his tyres by doing that.
Possibly could have done, and plus just Lawson trying to bridge that gap as well. May have overcooked it a little bit. The incident between Christian Hahn and Jack Doohan is under investigation. Here's the fight for third between the Teo Marti Motorsport teammates. As what's really interesting in this squabble for 5th is that whoever it is in 5th, be it Linus Lundqvist or Yuki Tsunoda, they just don't have enough underneath them to break really what's quite a lengthy chain of cars if you take it all the way back to including Tepe Notori in 9th place.
Yeah, earlier in the race we actually saw Liam Lawson bring the gap down at the front very quickly, but as soon as he engaged in the battle behind with Guilherme Samaya again, he lost quite a lot of time, and it meant they were under pressure from the drivers further back. We're seeing the same thing happen here with Linus Lundqvist and Yuki Tsunoda.
The incident involving cars 14 and 30 on the first lap was Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda under investigation. As we hit two-thirds race distance, if you have just joined us, I should explain that the 2 Red Bull liveried cars came together meters from the line, and Liam Lawson then cannonballed in front of the pack. He kept it pointing in the right direction, but it was one of those scary moments as Lawson and Sato, the gap between the pair of them has stabilised a little bit as Linus Lundqvist sets his personal best lap of the race, trying to eke away from Yuki Tsunoda. Tepe Notori, though, personal best lap of the race, sticking with Jack Doohan. Julian Hansen's trying to latch himself into that scrap as well.
Yeah, Lawson closed in on Sato on that last lap, but Sato actually set the personal best sector 3, and that sector requires a lot of grip. So maybe a case that Lawson really doesn't have the same amount of tyre usage as Sato does at this point in the race. And Billy Munger's had a very messy run through turn 3 there, and he's got...
It's Rui Andrade, I think he's putting a lap on.
Yeah.
And it's been a slightly less tidy race today for Billy Munger. Couple of slightly wayward moments, but it's all part of the learning experience. This is, although he was in the Wind Series, it's his first full-blown race weekend in the Euroformula Open. Now here is another look at him working the wheel, and then just a little bit of a trip across the curbs. And it all starts to add up, those fractions of a second here and there.
Yeah, and even though Billy's outside the points, he's pushing very hard. And behind him, there's a three-way battle 14th between Artem Petrov, Cameron Dass and Callum Williams. And they've been swapping places several times over the last few laps.
They have, and that battle has really raged throughout the course of the race. And again, all these drivers are going to keep pushing as hard as they can all the way through to the checkered flag. You never know how circumstances might change. Likewise, Tepe Naturi up behind Jack Doohan. Doohan, having been right up with Christian Hahn, not yet been able to re-establish contact with the Brazilian, as across the line comes Marino Sato. 3 laps to go. His lead over Liam Lawson, 2.7 seconds. And it's Sato who was a little bit quicker than Team Motorpark teammate last time around. Motorpark squad watching from the pit wall. Lawson in second position, though. A victory in the second place, plus pole position today, that should be good enough to give him the championship lead as we head away from Paul Ricard.
And although Sato's got a 2.7 second lead, he can't relax right now. He's still pushing. He's actually set the fastest lap of anyone on that last lap.
Absolutely, and it's beginning to pay off for him. Their next target, that's Petru Florescu, who's also had to peel into the pits for the DriveX team. The DriveX cars liveried very similarly to the Team Motorpark ones. Guillaume Samaya in third position, and this is a real breakout result for Samaya. And Teo Martin Motorsport, I think, can be very pleased with the way that Samaya and Lucas Dunner have performed this weekend. The third of their cars, Aldo Fastante, just outside the top 10 at the moment. So, waiting to see if we get any in-race resolution of the investigations that are currently underway, which may have a bearing on the classifications. For now, though, Sato from Lawson, from Samara, and then Lucas Dunner in fourth. And Dunner's not really been able to do anything about his teammate over the course of this race. The gap between them has just opened up fraction of a second by fraction of a second over the 13 laps so far, although a slightly snatched break.
Yeah, Samaya's still pushing as well, it appears, and he, although he's in third place, he is setting a time comparable to the top two, who are also pushing. And if Lawson is penalised, that will become second place.
Absolutely. That's what Teo Martin Motorsport may be hoping is the outcome. In fifth, it remains Linus Lundqvist, who's now 2.5 seconds clear of Yuki Tsunoda. Here is the battle between Christian Hahn, Jack Doohan and Tepe Naturi, and Christian Hahn seems to have slipped right back into the clutches of Jack Doohan once more.
And Julian Hanses is going to pull into the back of this battle in 10th place as the drivers ahead of him fight for position.
And that's the key, isn't it? With these cars being so evenly matched in terms of technical performance, as soon as they start engaging in battle and slowing themselves down even a fraction of a second, then it allows the cars time to all close up. And there was a slight wobble there from Christian Hahn heading out of turn 6.
And turn 6 is the place where multiple drivers have been breaking track limits, unintentionally or otherwise. So that may be another thing that Hahn could be investigated for.
Whether or not it will have cost him enough to come under threat from Jack Doohan down the Mistral Straight, we'll find out. Just 1.5 laps to go, though, for the race leader, Marino Sato. We heard at the start of the broadcast his mechanic say to him on the grid, just think about the start, and that has proved to be very sound advice from Marino Sato so far, because he launched away at the start of the race and has then just locked into this rhythm. It's been helped a little bit, I think, by the fact Liam Lawson, having initially slipped behind Samar, then passed him, then something happened that allowed the Brazilian to repass Liam Lawson, and those laps lost, effectively taking away the opportunity that Lawson would have had to challenge the victory. But we head now into the last lap.
This will be a huge result for Sato if he wins. Earlier I did say his best result was 7th. I was wrong. It was actually a 4th place at Zandvoort last year, the Dutch circuit. And if he wins it, this will be his first win since 2016 Italian Formula 4 season. So a long time coming for Sato.
and very richly deserved as well. He has been there or thereabouts in every session this weekend. And he will be glad to get through to the end of this last lap. Meanwhile, Jack Doohan is right with Christian Hahn. Tepe Notori part of that scrap as well. So we may yet see some changes, super slow-mo.
We also have the Fortec teammates Cameron Dass and Callum Williams still fighting over 15th place at the back. So that battle's been going on the whole race.
The Fortec drivers may have hoped to be a little bit further up the order possibly than they have been this weekend. And they will regroup in time for Po, the streets of Po, in a few weeks' time. As now into the second half of the Mistral Straight for the final time, it is Marino Sato who leads the way. 3.2 seconds up on Liam Lawson, who's now only a second clear of Guilherme Samar. I don't think that really means anything much at all. Confirmation all incidents being investigated after the race. The places that may yet change, though, Christian Hahn, Jack Doohan and Tepe Notori. From Rino Sato, though, this has been a very, very fine performance. He got away from the line absolutely perfectly, and as it all went a bit mad behind him in the opening stages, Sato just kept his head down and he heads through the final turn, accelerates towards the checkered flag and becomes the winner of the second round of the 2019 Euroformula Open Championship. Liam Lawson follows him through to finish in second place, with Guilherme Samar in his wheel tracks to round out the podium in third. Lucas Dunner in fourth, Linus Lundqvist in fifth, Yuki Tsunoda, and Lundqvist fast lap of the race, Yuki Tsunoda in sixth. And then there's been a change on the last lap. Tepe Notori ahead of Jack Doohan. So Christian Hahn in seventh, Notori to eighth, Jack Doohan slips to ninth, and Julian Hanses completes the top 10 ahead of Aldo Fustante, and then Billy Munger in 12th place for Carlin, ahead of his teammate Nikolai Kjærgaard.
And we said Hanses had struggled at the end of the previous race, so started quick. It wasn't, but in the last few laps he actually closed in on that battle, and he was only a 10th behind Jack Doohan, who was in 9th place come the end there.
But he did slip from 5th on the grid to 10th at the flag, and that will be something to work on for Po next time out. We're racing on the streets of Po on the 18th and 19th of May, so do make sure that you join us for all of the action. And then a weekend after that, we're off to Hockenheim, and then a 2-week pause before Spa. So a very busy few weeks of racing coming up for the drivers in the Euroformula Open Championship. But none of that matters for now to Marino Sato. He celebrates victory in Paul Ricard. And a really solid performance from Sato. As he heads back towards Parc Fermé, the battles behind all raging. Liam Lawson to second position as Guilherme Samar, a really fine drive to finish in third. It's been a great weekend for the Teo Marti Motorsport squad. So look at the final classification then. Sato wins it from Lawson in second, Samar in third, Lucas Dunner in fourth, Linus Lundqvist in fifth, and he took fastest lap on the last lap of the race. Yuki Tsunoda to sixth, Christian Hahn for seventh, Tepe Notori into eighth place, Jack Doohan ninth, and Julian Hanses completes the top 10. Lawson, Lundqvist and Tsunoda, the rookie podium as well for their efforts. Just outside the top 10, outside the points, then in 11th place, it was Aldo Fustante, Billy Munger in 12th, Nikolai Kjærgaard 13th, clear of Artem Petrov. Then Cameron Dass and Callum Williams had a race-long scrap, eventually decided in favour of Dass. Dimitris Simpris finishing in 17th. Petru Florescu and Rui Andrade both having difficult days for the DriveX team. And then in terms of the championship, Liam Lawson does lead by 9 points from Marino Sato after two races. Lucas Dunner in third from Yuki Tsunoda and Linus Lundqvist. Then Guilherme Samar, Tepe Notori, Julian Hanses, Christian Hahn and Jack Doohan. But with 16 races to come, there is still an awful lot of racing to go in the Euroformula Open season. So the run down pit lane for Marino Sato to the spot under the podium to celebrate victory here in Paul Ricard. Very well judged performance off the start. Liam Lawson already there, shutting the car off. Hops out, maybe he will feel that's one that got away. Qualified on pole, finishes his second. Guillaume Samar then a great third place. Lawson congratulates his teammate Sato. Immediately goes to debrief with the team. Marino Sato, that means an awful lot for him. He celebrates. To the applause of the mechanics from Team Motorpark. Pauses for the photos. Team Motorpark, they have won both races this weekend, and Lawson immediately into discussing the start of the race. So there will possibly be discussions afterwards, none of which means anything from Marino Sato, because he converted from second on the grid absolutely perfectly. He needs to go and weigh in, and then we will go and hear from our race winner before too long. In the rookie class, Lawson winning that once more from Linus Lundqvist and Yuki Tsunoda. Lundqvist having had a very solid weekend, not quite on the outright race podium yet, but surely just a matter of time. Chance to relive for Marino Sato that moment coming out of the final corner, seeing the checkered flag, waiting for him. And celebrating as a result. Thumbs up from Team Motorpark. Let's go down here for our winner.
Marino Sato, what a great race, what a great win. You must be very, very happy.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you.
How was it? Describe a little bit your race.
Just the start was really good. It was really mega. And afterwards, just also car was really fantastic. The job is to keep concentrated and don't make any mistake. And towards the end, I was getting more relaxed. So it was just really good, I think.
You knew it was your day?
Well, the qualifying was a good step today from yesterday. But yeah, I was also quite confident about the start. Yesterday was had a mistake, but today was just really good. Everything went really good.
Well done. Podium now. Thank you.
So the lights went out. Liam Lawson was slow away. It allowed Marino Sato to leap into the lead, but then Lawson and Tsunoda locking wheels, somehow avoiding a monstrous incident, and both the Red Bull back drivers able to keep going. It made, though, for a very messy first couple of corners, and it was also very busy as they headed down towards the chicane for the first time. Rui Andrade, one of those who picked up damage in all of that early running. Callum Williams, Naldo Fustante in the thick of the action in the early stages, as was Cameron Das and Artem Petrov, whereas at the front of the field it was Sato who was trying to stretch away from the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson and Guillaume Samar swapped places for a few laps, but eventually Lawson took advantage of that move, the Courbe de Seine, to pull clear, whilst Pierre-Louis Chauvet came to a halt at the end of his race. Linus Lundqvist and Yuki Tsunoda, another pairing that enjoyed a good scrap, but once Lundqvist was able to decisively get past the Japanese driver, he was able to build up a little bit of a buffer. For Marino Sato, it never looked like it was in doubt. A superb performance en route to his first victory in the Euroformula Open, followed home by Liam Lawson, who was the top rookie, and Guilherme Samaya, with Linus Lundqvist and Yuki Tsunoda completing the rookie podium. So all smiles, at least for Guilherme Samaya and Marino Sato, underneath the podium. In the shade, waiting to be announced up on to the rostrum. Runner-up, Liam Lawson, but he leaves Paul Ricard as the championship leader. And then Marino Sato for Team Motor Park to the top step of the podium, and victory in Paul Ricard. So moving straight into the presentation of the So the Japanese national anthem for Marino Sato, victorious in the second race of the season in Paul Ricard. Great performance, though, for Guilherme Samaya on to the podium. He thanks the Teo Martin Motorsport team, who have been right on the pace this weekend, have really been the main rivals to Team Motor Park. Runner-up, Liam Lawson. Not quite the day he would have hoped for. Nonetheless, that second position could be very important. Alan McNish doing the honours, presenting the winner's trophy to Marino Sato. And Team Motor Park celebrating an excellent debut weekend in the Euroformula Open Championship. So time for the photos on the podium with the dignitaries. And then time to make merry with the bubbly. At least for Marino Sato. This a moment to savour. He absolutely got the car away from line to perfection, and thereafter controlled it from the front. So he celebrates. Everybody else sets their sights on Po in 3 weekends' time. Rookie podium about to be announced, with Linus Lundqvist deep in discussion with Liam Lawson. Third rookie, though, was Yuki Tsunoda. And Tsunoda making that very, very quick start from third on the grid, but then interlocking wheels with Lawson on the way towards turn one, and that effectively pushed Tsunoda back down into the pack, so he finished 6th overall. Third rookie. There's Lundqvist. It's been a very solid weekend, not quite on to the outright race rostrum, but you get a feeling it's coming for him and the Double R team, and Liam Lawson, then the top rookie here in Paul Ricard. So receiving the trophy for third place, Yuki Tsunoda. I think his frustrations are reasonably evident. Linus Lundqvist happy with that second place. And a trip to the podium for Double R Racing, their first weekend in the Euroformula Open. And top rookie once more, Liam Lawson. So an excellent way to start the 2019 Euroformula Open season here in Paul Ricard as the drivers pose for photos. It means it's time for us to say thank you very much for joining us in France this weekend. We'll see you in Pau in 3 weeks' time. Until then, goodbye.